Отступаем к следующей базе.
Man down! Man down!
Hey guys, my name is the Russian Badger, and welcome to Valparaiso or Valparaiso, or however you would like to pronounce it. And I'm going to be using the XM8 prototype today, the real gun that I specialize with. I know I've dabbled with the SAW and the MG3 and really determining what's my best weapon that I could possibly use, and I know it's the XM8. And although I could be a total catfish and use an apache, I really do not like doing it, and it's not enjoyable to me at all. Now, first off, this is a great hack route right here on the left-hand side. You can't go wrong with it, because really, when you come up with this first set of objectives, you got three choices. You can take this hack route on the left-hand side, and some people might just say, OMFG wall hacks, and get mad at me, like saying you're a total catfish, and you're also being a trickster because you're using something or a path that you're not supposed to. But it's so much better than going up the middle, because if you go up the middle, you're just going to be hiding behind cover that is easily penetrated because it's all thin wood. And if you go the right side, you're going to have to swim like 800 meters out, being a water monster and being Michael Phelps over near B. So really, this is probably the smartest approach to this particular third set of objectives. And I'm going to show you the last three sets of objectives uncut, because I think it supports what I'm trying to speak about today. And really, what I'm trying to talk about today is what it takes to win a rush game in an ideal world. And I was thinking about this because I played against a guy on my friends list, and he was rolling with some other guys on his friends list. And moral of the story, in the game just preceding this by a little while, it was like I believe it was a few games before this, we got absolutely crushed on the attacking side. They were defending, we were attacking, and we got shut down. Absolutely destroyed. We could not arm. Once we got like the first three sets, they were just pummeling us. You want to know why? Because it was 6 against 12. And although both teams were full, it was 12 against 12 on the scoreboard, on your whole pause menu. It said 12 versus 12, but in reality, it's 6 versus 6. And this is what I'm trying to speak about. In an ideal world, who I would always like to play with is aggressive killers. And in my personal opinion, there's three stages. Although I've gone with other acronyms about how to destroy an MCOM. In my personal opinion, there's two major things that you strictly need to dominate an enemy team. Now, the first one is aggressiveness, and that's basically you want your team to be moving forward in a timely manner. Like you want them to get into the enemy area, like the enemy vicinity, extremely quickly. And the other one, this is probably the most major component to destroying objectives. And obviously they're way ahead of me right now, and this is what I like to see. I like to see this kind of aggressiveness, but what you really need to absolutely destroy, just dismantle an enemy team is presence. Now, this is what I'm talking about. You want a presence in the enemy area where you want the maximum amount of your teammates in the enemy area killing enemies so that they have to continually respawn, just keeping them at the respawn screen, and furthermore, keeping them off the battlefield. So you have fewer adversaries to face, and it's so much easier because obviously the fewer enemies that you have on the battlefield, the easier it is to arm objectives, the easier it is to win the game. It's as simple as that. And that comes with a lot of your teammates in the enemy area having established a supreme dominance in the enemy spawn. And it's not specifically the spawn. I'm not talking about the spawn as in the back of the operational area where they all come into the game. I'm talking about the vicinity in which the objectives are contained. So basically, call it the enemy base, if you will. So that's such a major component to dominating an enemy team, is having a presence in the enemy area. And ideally, that would be all 12 of you. But that doesn't happen. We have recons that sit back 200, 300 meters with bolt-action sniper rifles. That doesn't contribute because they're not getting... If I think about it this way, they're not getting as many kills as they possibly could with an assault rifle. So, for example, if there's some bush monster sitting in some dense vegetation 200 meters back, odds are he's probably not going to get as many kills as if he was inside the enemy base using an assault rifle or an SMG. And this is what you want right here. If I can describe it this way, the ideal environment for your entire team, just draw a 50-meter radius around like the set of objectives, and you want all your teammates inside that 50-meter radius, so you just consume the enemy team's area of operation. You just consume it, because if you have 12 guys, all with assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, what have you, not necessarily sniper rifles because they're not particularly effective in the close to medium range, well, arguably with different scopes, but if you have all teammates that are all moving forward, and there's a prime example, Recon right ahead of me, superstar, by the way, superstar. Moving forward, I don't know if he has a G3, but he's being extremely aggressive, and you're going to see coming up here, he's using motion mines, and that's a primary part of the Recon kit, is spotting and enemy identification. And so often, this is what I'm talking about. If you have 4 Recons in your team sitting way back, it's virtually 8 on 12. And I really think the overlying thought anytime that I'm playing a rush game is if I'm not moving forward and gaining ground towards the objective, I am essentially losing the battle. And I like to divide my whole play style or my adopted role into two different roles. One is being extremely aggressive and going for the objective myself, and the second one is being the spawn point. And in this, you're going to see a lot more spawn point because there were others that were getting the objective quicker than I was, or in a more effective manner than I was. And as you can see here, I'm prepared to go get B, and I'm going to try to go over to B, but there's a gentleman that beats me into the house, so I'm going to drop back, and then I'm going to play the role of the spawn point so that the rest of my squad mates can always have someone to spawn on. And this is essentially why it's so useful. And although this may be a little bit patronizing, and most of you already know this, sometimes it has to be established, and this is just awful aim. Sometimes the spread just goes wacky when you tap or burst fire. I don't know what it is. But really, a mobile spawn point is so valuable because it saves you tickets and it saves you time. Because if you can always get your players in, and it only takes them like a few seconds to get the objective or get to the objective. For example, if the objective is 10 feet away versus 100 feet away, it's so much more valuable because you're not wasting time, and you're not wasting any time, and when you're not wasting any time, you're not wasting any tickets. And as you can see here, I'm going to adopt the role of being the mobile spawn point, and here's a perfect example. Great recon. Great recon. He's going to throw a bunch of motion sensors into the back of their spawn, and see, there's going to be a few orange markers, and it's going to make my job that much easier. All I'm doing, I'm exterminating anybody that goes towards B, and I'm just the mobile spawn point. That's all I am. That's all I am. And that also gives my squad mates the ability to be a lot more cavalier and a lot more aggressive in their playstyles, because they know even if they die, they'll spawn right back on me. They'll be 10 feet away from B, or 20 feet away from B. I'm not going to convert it to meters for you, but you know what I mean. And this is exactly how it should be played. And granted, you could say, oh, you're playing against total awful tricksters. They don't have any ability at all. They suck. They're nubcakes. They're catfish. Well, rufen Sie die Polizei. Es ist mir egal. Like, call the police. It doesn't matter. I play against awful teams all the time. And it was a few games before this that we were getting absolutely crushed by a defensive team. And this is what you want to see right here. You want to see 9-10 guys in the enemy area just absolutely, and you don't see many recons, do you? And that's a part of our success, was we were all getting tons of kills. We were all in that 50, I think of it as a 50-meter radius in the enemy spawn. So number one, we have a huge presence in the enemy spawn. We're getting lots of kills, and we're moving towards the objectives. That's all it takes for victory. That's about it. And as you can see, that led to victory, as in my team won. And it's interesting to see the contrast, because when you have a team that's aggressive, they're always moving towards the objective, they establish a presence, and they kill enemies. That's all you need. That really is all you need. And when you have teammates that are not moving towards objectives and not trying to be aggressive enough, they're essentially taking themselves out of the battle. And hopefully you guys are okay with this more serious side of my thoughts on Rush. And there's your final score. I want to thank you guys for watching, and auf Wiedersehen oder bis bald oder tschüss. That sounds a little odd, but I will see you guys later. Goodbye.